Hey guys, in the last video we looked at observables, just plain observables, and now we're going to work with the HTTP module, which allows us to make requests to backend services, and it also returns everything as an observable. Now, in order to use this, just like with any module, we need to add it to app.module.ts. So we're going to bring that in up here by saying import, and we want to do HTTP module, and that's going to be from Angular/HTTP. Okay, and then we need to add it to imports, just like that. Okay, so now we should be able to use it. We'll save that. Now we're going to go into our data service. Okay, I still have the data service in this project, and we're going to bring in the HTTP module. So let's say import HTTP from, it's going to be from Angular/HTTP, and just like with any other service, we need to inject it as a dependency. So in the constructor here, let's say public HTTP and set it to capital HTTP. All right, and then what I'm going to do here is set a property called let's see, what do I want to do? Let me open up something actually. Let's see, it's JSON placeholder. I forget the exact URL. It's like typey code or something like that. And we're going to use this for the next few lectures. It's basically a fake. It's a fake REST API. So we can make HTTP requests to it. We can make GET requests to fetch data. We can post data, although it's not going to be saved in a database or anything because they don't want just people clogging up their database. But it will make a successful request and it'll send data back. All right. We can also make put requests, which are usually used to update data on a server. Same thing with patch, and then delete requests, which are used for deleting data. Now, as far as the resources, we could use posts, comments, albums, photos, to-dos, and users. We're going to use users. If I click on that, you'll see that it'll give us an array of user objects with an ID, a name, username, gives us an address, embedded object, a company embedded object. But we're not going to use all this data. We're just going to use the ID, the name, the username, and the email, okay, for the next few lectures. So what we're going to do is go over here and we're going to create a function called getUsers. All right, and in here what we're going to do is return this.http, and then we want to do whatever type of request we want to make. In this case, it's going to be a GET request, and then that's going to take in the URL, which is going to be let's see, that what we just saw, this right here. So JSON placeholder typey code /users. So I'm just going to copy that and we'll put that right in there. Okay, I'm actually just going to remove this secure, the S. And then since this is an observable, or since we want to return an observable, we want to use an operator called map. Okay, because we want to map the response to JSON before we send it. So to use map, we need to import, and it's going to be from RxJS, reactive extensions, and then there is, we can say add/operator/map, okay, and that'll let us use that. So let's go to the end here after this closing parentheses, and I'm just going to go on the next line and say .map. All right, and then it's going to give us the response from that URL, and then we just want to map it to JSON. So we'll say res.json, like that. Let's see, why is that not working? I mean, why does that have an error? Does not exist on observable response. That's weird. http.get. What the heck? That's strange. I've never seen it do that. Is this the right URL? Yeah, JSON placeholder, typeycode.com/users. Huh. Oh, I forgot the S on RxJS. There we go. All right. So we save that. Now this is a very small amount of code to make that request. Now if we were to use standard JavaScript and actually use the XML HTTP object, it would be a lot more than that. Even if we were to use jQuery or some kind of library like Axios, it would be a lot more code. All right, so what we want to do now is go to our component and we want to get that data from our service. So let's create a property here called users, and I'm just going to set it to any, so an array with any. And inside the constructor here, let's say this dot data service dot get users, and remember it's an observable, so we have to do dot subscribe, just like we did in the last video. And that's going to give us back a response. I'm going to call it users. We're going to use an arrow function, and then let's just do console.log users just for now, just to see what it gives us back. So I'm going to go over here, and you'll see down here it gives us 10 back. Okay, it gives us 10 user objects with all that data that we saw on the web page. Okay, now what I want to do is set, let's comment that out, and I'm going to set this dot users equal to the users that are returned. Okay, and then we can use those in our UI. So let's go up here and let's put in a div here, and I'm going to use an ng4 to loop through the users. So let user of users. All right, and then in here let's put a div with the class of well, which is just a bootstrap class, gives it a kind of a border and a background. And let's see, we'll put a UL. Just trying to make it look halfway decent. So list group, and then we'll do an li with the class of list group item. And then in here, let's put, we'll say name, and then we'll set it to user.name. All right, and then what I'll do is copy the li, paste in 2 more, and let's get the email, and let's get the phone. We'll display that as well. All right, and then we'll save it. And actually, I just want to put a line break after the UL. And there we go. So now we have 10 users coming in from the JSON placeholder site. Okay, and you could do this with any JSON API. If you were using Google Maps or the GitHub API, you can use the HTTP module to fetch data as well as post data, and if the API permits that. Okay, you might need to include some kind of key, some kind of authentication key, but the HTTP module is very easy to use. All right, so in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to keep this as is, and I'm going to show you how we can create a form and then send a post request to that JSON placeholder API, and then get a response back.